What is going on, people? Hello. Sorry I got on late today. I had to hang out and do things with the baby for a second and watch him and all that kind of cool stuff. Anyway. Well, and I have a headache, so we're probably not going to go for super long tonight. My brain hurts. It's not a fun time. I'm not enjoying it. Anyway, so we're going to probably end up finishing up this track that we started last night for like half a second. And then, yeah, we'll only be on for a little bit tonight, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's go ahead and bust it down here. There we go. All right. So if anybody doesn't remember what we did yesterday, let's see here. Young Kai, I believe is his name is? Yeah. I found this randomly while I was scrolling, and I was like, it was actually pretty hot. So I wanted to do a remix of it. Let's see here.
Oh, snap! It's totally time.
I can't wait
For a rewind.
Rewind it. Freeze. Girl in the top.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. You'd be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all
So anyway, you get the idea. So I was like, okay, let's, and it's in 3, so it's a little bit weird, but it'd be alright. It'd be alright. I think we're gonna be good. So here's sort of kind of the chord progression that I sort of kind of came up with for it, at least. I don't know if this is gonna be it in the end, but. I actually sort of kind of.
your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. You'd be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. I imagine we fell in love on that buzzing moonlight sky.
Here's the thing, we got to figure out what direction should we go with this. Should we stay like sort of kind of like, I almost think it should be house, but I sort of kind of don't want to keep making house stuff. You know what I mean? So maybe we make it almost like maybe like neo soul or like jazz or something, sort of kind of, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. You'd be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars.
This is actually really cool. I was not in sort of kind of thinking it was going to sound like this, but this is actually really dope. I'm really happy with the way this is coming out so far. I mean, it's only, you know, first 5 seconds, so whatever, but let's see here. Why do I always do this to myself? I really only need to do one, and then the rest of them I can just do. Man, making myself hard. Making it hard on myself. What am I doing? Let's see here. I said something stupid, but I'm not going to address it. There we go. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, boss? How you doing today?
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. You'll be mine, would you mind if I took your
I don't know if I want to go this direction, but I might. Let's see what. I don't know if I want to do this, but
Morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. You'll be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. You'll be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. You'll be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. You'll be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. You'll be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes.
This is actually coming out a lot better than I thought it was going to. This is actually really cool. I am happy with this. Hold on, let's get this. Make sure.
All that I want this life. Your morning
That's not
eyes,
quite
I
it.
could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. You'll be mine, would you mind if I stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by an hotel without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want this life. Your morning eyes, imagine we fell in love on that buzzing moonlight skies with you. I think I'll picture us here with the waves, the ocean's colors on your face. I'll use my heart with your hand, so let me fly with you. Will you be forever with me? Imagine we fell in love on that buzzing moonlight skies with you. I think I'll picture us here with the waves, the ocean's colors on your face. I'll leave my heart with your hand, so let me fly with you. Will you be forever with me? My love will always stay by you. I'll keep it safe, so don't you worry a thing. I'll tell you I love you more. It's stuck with you forever, so promise you won't let it go. I'll trust the universe will always bring me to you. I imagine we fell in love on that buzzing moonlight skies with you. I think I'll picture us here with the waves, the ocean's colors on your face. I'll leave my heart with your hand, so let me.
Okay, I think we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. Let me. Ooh. That I feel you on.
I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. You'd be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? Oh, you're all that I want this life.
God, that dude is a good. That shit is good. Man, that's good. That guy's. I gotta see if he has other stuff that's any good. I'm sure he does, right? He's got to.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. You'd be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? Well, you're all that I want this life. You'd be mine, would you mind if I took your hand? I could walk you by and tell without a thought. If I took your chance, your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. If I took your hand tonight, you're all that I want. If I took your hand tonight, you're all that I want. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. If I took your hand tonight, you're all that I want. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. If I took your hand tonight, you're all that I want. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. If I took your hand tonight, you're all that I want. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. If I took your hand tonight, you're all that I want. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. If I took your hand tonight, you're all that I want. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell everything. I'll tell you I love you more. It's stuck with you forever, so promise you won't let it go. I'll trust me. My love will always stay by you. I'll keep it safe, so don't you worry a thing. I'll tell you I love you more. It's stuck with you forever, so promise you won't let it go. I'll trust the universe will always bring me safe. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought. Your morning eyes, I could stare like your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and I'll tell without a thought.
How you doing today, bud? Sorry, thank you. I appreciate it. We're what's it called? I found this track randomly scrolling earlier, and I was like, we got to make this into something. This is interesting. This is a cool song. I think you might like this. It's just like a cool little track or whatever. I can add cowbell.
Would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all that I want beside. I imagine we fell in love on that winter moonlight skies with you.
So I was like, ah, that's a cool song. And then I was like, yeah, but what if? It's a dope track. It's a dope track. I actually really, I just found it scrolling randomly, and I was like, oh, that's a good one. That's a real good one. But all right, cowbell, hold on. I got you. Let's see if I can add one. See if it'll sound good.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by, and I'll tell without a thought. You're mine, you're mine. Oh, you're all that I want this life. I'm not building up my skies with you. Stare like watching stars. I could walk you by, and I'll tell without a thought. You're mine, you're mine. I think I'll picture us with the wind. The ocean is by my side. Stare like watching stars. I could walk you by, and I'll tell without a thought. You're mine, you're mine. Oh, you're all that I want.
All right. I actually think I like that.
It's stuck with you forever, so promise you won't let it go. I'll trust the universe will always bring me to you.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think we're cooking with grease. Hold on. Let's see here.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by, and I'll tell without a thought. Do you mind? Would you mind? No, you're all that I want is love. Keep it safe, so don't you worry a thing. I'll tell you I love you more. It's stuck with you forever, so promise you won't let it go. I'll trust the universe will always bring me to you.
I like that. I like that all the way through. I think that sounds awesome. I'm happy with that. That's cool. I didn't think it was gonna sound like that, but I'm happy with that. That's cool. That's cool as shit. Oh, do I listen to K-pop? It never crosses my radar. Like it's not that I don't or won't. Every time I hear it, it's cool, but I never hear it. Like I didn't even hear K-pop Demon Hunters until like I don't know, like 2 months, a month, 2 months ago, something like that. Like I mean, if you have some, if you've got some good suggestions, my guy, I will pull them up right now. I am open to the idea. Yeah, this shit sounds awesome, by the way. This shit sounds really dope, by the way. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the way this sounds. Now, not at all the way I thought it was going to come out, but this is pretty fur. Let me see. I am going to do this though. Take this. Or was it down here? Yeah. Do like that.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by and tell without a thought. You'd be mine, would you mind if I took your hand tonight? No, you're all.
I think I did it. No, I didn't do a remix of Your Idol. Which one did I do a remix of? It was, let me see here. It was, oh man, I've done too many now. This is becoming a problem. What it sounds like? Yeah, what it sounds like? Okay, Sam Kim, Sunny Days. I got you. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. I have a feeling I might get. I don't give a shit. Fuck it. I don't care anymore. See, these are all live in the studio, though. Well, we could probably find something. It doesn't really. That's not that big of a problem. Oh wait, here we go. Official audio. There we go. Stuff it. Sorry. Okay, that's ridiculous. I don't know.
You can see this.
That was unnecessary. That was very unnecessary. Ooh.
너를 처음 만났던 날 밝게 웃던 내게 말 걸었던 날
This is dope.
우리가 된 그 여름밤
It reminds me a lot of what's it called? It reminds me of Samurai Champloo or like Cowboy Bebop. That's you know what I mean? Yeah, it sounds, I like this.
가만히 내 손을 잡아
Also, by the way, I usually, to be fair, hate stuff like this because I generally hate when people are just playing guitar and singing. It sort of kind of pisses me off. I'm like, nah, I'm not a fan. But this is actually really good. This is they're an English version. Okay, hold on. I don't care necessarily that it's in Korean. That doesn't bother me per se. Can I type in English? See, this is just English cover. That's not it. Okay, is it maybe?
처음 만났던 날 밝게 웃던 내게 말 걸었던 날 된 그 여름밤 가만히 내 손을 잡았던 그
I like this. This is cool.
기억해 지금 여기
This is cool.
사랑에 있게
Oh. Ooh, okay, my bad. Hold on.
Sunny days 네 옆에 있을게
Ooh, okay.
약속할게
Okay.
너와 언제나 내게 기대도 돼 Rainy days 혼자라 느껴질 때 편히 쉴 수
Okay.
있게 이제 내가 너의 포근한 밤이 되어줄게 우리 좀 그날처럼
Alright. Shit. Go ahead. Go ahead, Korean Life Jennings. God damn. Okay. I was not expecting that. Okay.
Right there next to you
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Right there next to you
God damn. This gives me Bobby Caldwell vibes. I'm fucking with this. This is ooh.
기억해 지금 여기
Ooh.
함께 걸었던 이 길
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that Erica Badu in it.
언젠가 먼 훗날에 문득 뒤
God damn, that's pretty good, dude. That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I might. I mean, that I don't. You know what? Let's put that in the. Let's put that in the folder here. Let's put that in the folder here because that's sick. That's actually really good. I like that a lot. that's actually really dope. Yeah, we'll put that in the folder there. That's pretty good. I'll fuck with that. God damn, you got me fucked up. That was good. That was too good. All right, I'm gonna listen to this one more time and make sure you work out any kinks that I've got. But I think this one's done. Oh, you know what we could do? I usually don't do this, but we could throw something like this in there. Let's see if maybe we can find something here.
We're here because
What is this song about again? Let's see.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by, and I'll tell without a thought. Keep it safe, so don't you worry a thing. I'll tell you I love you more. It's dark, it's first. I promise you won't let it go. I'll trust the universe will always bring me to you. My love will always stay by.
I sort of kind of think it'd be cool to add something in the beginning there before it starts. Let's see. I gotta figure out what to add though. I want to add some kind of like sample, but I don't know what. I mean,
Your morning eyes, I could stare like what?
Lord Joanne adored your article, as did I.
Holy crap. You're not the only one who talks to Fred.
No.
Maybe we should do a family vacation. What do you think about that, Dad? Should we dip our toes in the ocean together?
Oh, that sounds so nice.
Crash your honeymoon. Count me in. If I'm still here.
So what's this? Taster's choice moment between. I'm going to recommend to the disciplinary committee that you be expelled. Mr. Sims, you are a cover-up artist and you are a liar.
But not a snitch.
Like water. Fundamentally, you will be afraid on the surface. You will be afraid of putting your hand in the fire. You will be afraid of...
Fill up with snow.
With Lisa. Sometimes I'd be embarrassed to hold hands in public. Or if we were on the phone and there was people around, she'd always say, "Bye, love you." And I go, "Me too." And she'd laugh, 'cause she'd know. Yeah. Sometimes I was out working late, phone would go, and I think, "Oh my God, what's happened?" I go, "Hello? I go, what's wrong?" And she'd say, "Nothing's wrong. I just love you." So, and one day you'll meet someone and it'll be, life will be brilliant. So, nothing to feel sad about. Not yet.
To watch his woods fill up with snow.
You showed your feelings. That's good. What should I show my feelings? Like, sometimes I'd be embarrassed to hold hands in public. Or if we were on the phone and there was people around, she'd always say, "Bye, love you." And I go, "Me too." And she'd laugh, 'cause she'd know. Yeah. Sometimes I was out working late, phone would go, and I think, "Oh my God, what's happened?" And I go, "Hello?" I go, "What's wrong?" And she'd say, "Nothing's wrong. I just love you." "I love you." And I go, "What's wrong?" So,
Apple of my eye. Couldn't stand. Oh, good. Because I love that girl. Apple of my eye. Couldn't stand anything to happen to her.
you showed your feelings. That's good. Or should I show my feelings more? With Lisa. Like, sometimes I'd be embarrassed to hold hands in public. Or if we were on the phone and there was people around, she'd always say, bye, love you. And I go, me too. And she'd laugh.
She'd know. Yeah. Sometimes I was out working late, phone would go, and I think, oh my God, what's happened? And I go, hello? What's wrong? And she said, nothing's wrong. I just love you. Sometimes I'd be embarrassed to hold hands in public. Or if we were on the phone and there was people around, she'd always say, bye, love you. And I go, me too. And she'd laugh, she'd know. Yeah. Sometimes I was out working late, phone would go, and I think, oh my God, what's happened? And I go, hello? So what's wrong? And she said, nothing's wrong. I just love you. Showed your feeling. That's good. What's that say my feelings for? Sometimes I'd be embarrassed to hold hands in public. Or if we were on the phone and there was people around, she'd always say, bye, love you. And I go, me too. When she'd laugh. No. Yeah. Sometimes I was out working late, phone would go, and I think, oh my God, what's happened? I go, hello? So what's wrong? And nothing's wrong. I just love you.
Your morning up.
So
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by, and I'll tell without a thought. Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by, and I'll tell without a thought.
She said, nothing's wrong. I just love him. She said, nothing's wrong. I just love him. She said, nothing's wrong. I just love him.
Your morning.
Okay, I think I've got this one done all together. Let me go ahead and go pee real quick, but I'll go ahead and press play.
wish I'd show my feelings more. Sometimes I'd be embarrassed to hold hands in public. Or if we were on the phone and there was people around, you know, say, bye, love you. And I go, me too. And she'd laugh, she'd go, yeah. Sometimes I was out working late. Phone would go, and I think, oh my God, what happened? And I go, hello? What's wrong? And she'd say, nothing's wrong. I just love you. I just love you.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by, and I'll tell without a thought. You'll be mine, you're mine. You're all that I want. I'll never get over my skies with you. Keep it safe, so don't you worry a thing. I'll tell you I love you more. It's not with you forever, so promise you always get close. I'll trust the universe, but you'll always be missing. I'm not buzzing over my skies with you.
Yeah, I think it's good. Go ahead and just do one more little small thing here, and then we'll be done with this one.
Your morning eyes, I could stare.
You showed your feelings.
I did. What that felt like being on.
Release that.
Sometimes I'd be embarrassed
To hold hands.
in public.
Or if we were on the phone and there was people around, she'd always say,
I love you.
and I go, me too. And she'd laugh, she'd go, Yeah. Sometimes I'm out working late, phone would go up and I think, oh my god, not nothing. And then, hello? Oh, what's wrong? And
You think nothing's wrong?
I just love her.
Your morning eyes, I could stare like watching stars. I could walk you by, and I'll tell without a thought. You mind, you mind.
I think it was pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and balance this one, and then we'll set up a new session here real quick. Is it all that I want, or what is this called? Blue. Young Kai. Oh, we'll do blue first. Okay, yeah. All right, let me go ahead and bounce this, and I have a couple things I wanted to watch tonight. We can hang out and watch some stuff and chill out and do the thing for a couple minutes.
A flower is only as good as its petals, don't you think?
A flower is good for nothing.
Really?
You can't eat a flower. A flower doesn't keep you warm.
And a rose never knocked a man on a horse either, did it?
You're just a silly girl, are you?
Better a silly girl with a flower than a silly boy with a horse and a stick.
I've been waiting on your touch, set for way too long. I know I fuck it all up when I come. But we don't fight, we don't talk, we don't love no tell me that you just might need some space. But I just can't seem to understand it, just ain't my place. Oh, when you tell me you love me, tell me you hate me, I know.
Said you tell me you want me to leave, but don't want me to go. Cowbell. This guy. Oh, alright. Alright. Okay. Alright, well now that we're done with that, I'm glad we're done with that one. I actually like that. That was pretty cool. That was pretty good. So we're gonna hang out for a minute. We're just gonna, I don't know, we're gonna watch a couple little things. We're gonna do a couple things. We're gonna be bullshitting a little bit. I did sort of kind of want to I haven't watched this, so let's watch this because this actually looks pretty cool. What? No. Well, we might comment on that one too. Let's see here. Okay, so this is, I guess, Janet Jackson's drummer. I don't know who this guy, but I mean, I love Drumeo. They have such good stuff, so we're gonna watch it. Let's see here. First listen, because I don't know what this sounds like.
All right, man, here we go.
Steve Martin from The Jerk. That's a good one. I don't know what this song sounds like, so we'll see what this actually is. All right, let's see what his take is like. So you could tell he was really just vibing there at the beginning. Like, he was just seriously straight up just vibing. He was, I mean... Okay. Okay. All right. That was smooth. That was, hold on. Where is that? That was smooth. That was smooth as shit. Ooh, that was a nice fill. I like that. there's no way this is what the original song sounds like, but this is still cool as shit. That part right there had real Ozzy Osbourne vibes. Like, serious Ozzy. Like this part. Like, that sounds very much like Cowboys at the Moon, like, Mr. Crowley-esque, you know what I mean? Yeah, right there. Yeah. And then he jumps to like a jungle beat. This is hot. Oh, okay. I'm sort of kind of just interested to hear what the original song is. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
Double kick.
That's Mike Portnoy or Dave Portnoy? Yeah, that checks out. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that was nice.
Ooh.
That transition was clean, man.
That was pretty sick. Actually, that was pretty sick. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I like his better, actually. I think I like his better. Yeah, I think I like his better, actually, than the original. The original is sort of kind of, I'm not saying it's boring, but
that transition was clean, man.
Yeah, I think I like this guy's version better. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe I'm being biased or something. I don't know. I think that's way better. I think that's way better. Let me see here. What else do we got in the docket for tonight? Oh, I wanted to hear this. I don't know. I mean, this came out today, I guess.
Better now.
Oh, shut up. This came out today. I wanted to hear what this was like. Sienna Spiro. Video came out today, at least. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
We lay on towers on rented time. I'm yours for hours. You're always mine. All things expire. I know you won't stay.
This is a cool video, I guess.
To inspire you to say.
Oh, so it's just a ballet.
Say that you love me. Say more you need.
Oh, well, that's cool. I was hoping it would be a little bit more. I'm not gonna lie. That's sort of kind of, yeah. I was watching Kill Tony the other night, and dude, this guy, we got to watch this guy real quick. Hold on. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. This guy is crazy.
Goes by the name of Stephen Glenn, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes Stephen Glenn.
This guy's wildin'. He's
you
great.
gotta be fucking kidding me.
Coming out in the bozo suit. What is going on here?
Unbelievable. This show's crazy.
This guy is wildin', bro. What is this? This guy.
Sometimes you wanna go, cause you wanna be very gay.
I mean, he literally just sings a song about just. This is ridiculous. Just hold on. I'm sorry, guys.
But
Okay, is there more you wanted? Did you want to do something?
I had
Okay.
Fuck yes, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome. Keep doing that. That rules.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this. Steven, did you want to do something other than sing a bad parody of a song?
Fun fact. Jews.
Okay,
No,
I'm gonna stop you there.
He's like, hold
Steven.
on. What the fuck is this fucking guy?
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Jews like to kill 6 out of 7 people. That's where 6-7 came from.
What the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
How
I'm so in.
how are you getting out of here? Because I know there's some Jews and some gay people outside ready to whoop your fat ass. And why did you drop the clown suit? That was the funny shit.
Yeah.
And you got the nerve to have a fanny pack?
Yeah.
Where are we going with all of this?
I completely disagree. This is the lane to stay in. This is fucking awesome.
Stephen Glenn,
It makes me so happy to watch Tom happy when people are very uncomfortable. It makes me laugh so hard. It makes me so happy.
gotta ask.
What's up with Asians? Give us some.
How long?
I loved it, dude.
Yeah, how long have you been doing comedy, Stephen?
This is my second time.
Right. And your first time you did it, did you do it with a clown suit, come out, face the other way, and then sing a parody of the Cheers theme song?
I did the Cheers theme song.
The finger goes into the belly button. That is, when he gets nervous, he fingers his belly button.
It's a tick.
It's a tick. Oh my goodness, Stephen.
Keep doing what you're doing. Do not pivot from this. I'm telling you, this is fucking gold. Thank you.
Stephen, I don't know how we're going to get around the YouTube rules on song parodies are so strict that we're going to have to really do some surgery to your parody and have people imagine the Cheers theme song while not actually being able to. I don't think we're going to be able to air. Red Band has informed me that there's no way we can get that through. Yes, it's not us, it's YouTube, because they are very strict on the way that music works.
I'll pay the fee.
Okay. All right. You heard it here. You heard it here. Oh, he's making some big creative decisions over here, folks. So,
You gotta, I mean, second time, he made a choice.
Totally.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. And he has not cracked a smile. This is a serious man. Oh, there he goes. Steven.
I like that you fucking...
When was your last time? When was the first time that you tried this out? Was that a week ago, a month ago?
It was at the shit show in Fort Worth, Texas.
When was the question?
This guy is just yeah, this is Kill Tony. This guy is just he's an anomaly. And I was just like, I watched this the other night, and then I was watching it again today, just ran, and I was like, this guy is one of the weirdest people I've ever. I mean, he is just an insane person. I mean, it's great. I love it. I love it so much. It's my favorite thing. I love watching outrageous people be outrageous. It's one of my favorites. All right, this is my last thing. Let me see here. Well, you know what? We got, how much we think? Yeah, we got time for a little bit more. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, we're going to go down conspiracy corner, guys. We're going down conspiracy corner. Let me see here. Let me see here. Wait, outrageous. What do you, wait, which one are you talking about? I'm confused. Oh, you talking about what? Yo, never mind. He be wildin'. Let me see here. Let me see here. It's Baron Coleman. There we go. We're gonna go down this rabbit hole for a second here, guys. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole. This is what we're doing.
I think this video is one of the most important.
Shut up. All right. All right. So yeah, let's get down and dirty in the rabbit hole. Yeah. Let's do it.
Videos that I've come across.
All right. So guys, I'm working on a sort of kind of like no, I love Kill Tony. We can't kill Tony. Kill Tony is one of my favorite things every week. But what's it called? Lex, you got me fucked up, dog. You get me fucked up. But okay, we're going down the rabbit hole. All right. So, all right. I'm not even gonna. Well, I'll set this up a little bit. Basically, they're talking about the supposed. I don't know. People are talking about it in all types of different ways. They don't know what the fuck is going on under the ballroom. But I think this is. I sort of kind of trust this lady. I think she does a lot of really good work. She's found a lot of stuff that is on government websites that shouldn't be there, which I think we're getting a little bit heady. This is a little bit dense. I'm just letting you guys know in advance. But this is the road we're going down for a second. Okay, so
I encourage people to watch it. So let me just set this up. So Dre from the Dre dossier, she's done this research in the past. If you followed all your stuff, if you look at your Substack, if you watch your videos, you have taken a keen, because you're interested in corruption, you've taken this keen interest in data centers, data, how data flows, and you've come across the fact that this ballroom is actually, the ballroom they're trying to build at the White House is actually sitting on top of what looks like to you, and you've convinced me, a massive computing operation, a massive potential, what we would call as a data center.
Yeah, no, that's a better way to put it. Because I think when people hear data center, they think, oh, you know, the big warehouse that Amazon's going to put up with all the smoke plumes and stuff. And it's a processing, computer center.
So you come across this idea, you because you're chasing corruption, because you've linked this corruption to this processing power that they appear to be building under the ballroom. You realize, okay, they have all this ability to process. And if you're going to process, you have to process something. So we know what that is. But the question is, where's it coming from? What are they putting in there? Is that sort of where you started before you came across what you came across?
Yeah. Well, and also I have to hand it to, Larry Ellison of Oracle, who has been really my guiding light through all of this, because he's done all of this in various capacities before. And so with, this particular situation, the only reason I took the approach I did in the way that I was kind of looking for this data is because of what Ellison and Oracle had been doing for the past 10 years up until 2024, when he was building those personal dossiers on some 5 billion Americans out of 8 billion Americans on Earth, mind you.
8 billion.
And
8 billion.
8 billion. Yeah, at the time. Well, when those numbers were run, 5 billion people. Yeah, he was creating these very detailed dossiers. And in 2024, he went to court over it and had to end up paying out a $115 million lawsuit because, you can't really be keeping those kinds of things on people. And, I just think it was convenient.
So what they're talking about, in case people don't know, is Larry Ellison. Let's see here. Sorry. It was a court case where he got basically found out that he was just basically pulling in all of these this data from all of his websites in like secondary sort of kind of ways. It's really fucked up. I mean, well, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Basically what he would do is he would have these like subcontracted sites that are under the website that would be like, I think she actually explains it here. We'll just let her.
Timing, because with that, the way that he did it was quite clever.
Yeah,
like he
yeah.
had all these websites that he would buy, and he'd merge them together, and he'd put little cookies on each website. So Blue Kai, for instance, would have this little invisible like little box that would appear when you'd go onto the website, and you wouldn't see it or anything, and it would ping something to your browser, and then your browser would ping.
Yes, Ellison is the guy who now owns basically the entire media, like mainstream media sphere. He owns CBS. He owns. It's crazy how many things Larry Ellison owns. Let me see here. Yeah, he owns. It's an insane amount of companies and everything else. It's let me see here. Oracle. Let's see here. Oh, these are all the different things he has stock in. Yeah, Theranos. I mean, this dude has money in everything. X, Tesla, Oracle. I mean, this dude owns basically our entire media sphere. It's insane, to be honest with you. But so this is now the guy though who's in charge. Well, she'll get to it, but he's in charge of this beautification of the American data. Like it's this, yeah.
Over to this other website that he bought that had like a couple of pixels that would be capturing information. Like he had this way that he did it, and I remember studying that, and I was like, that's so crazy. Like, what a crazy person thing to do. And given that he's the shadow president, you know, Trump's words, not mine, or sorry, the CEO of everything, I felt like he was probably a good indication of how to look at these websites that I was finding.
So if we go back in time, you're building on, I think you're standing on the shoulders of giants and looking at the privacy angle to corruption. So go back to, did you ever see the movie Snowden or follow all that? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, Edward Snowden, he was a little freak. I like him.
He was a little wild.
He
And
was
then
a
you had
freaky
Julian
boy.
Assange. These are two people who were kind of famous for creating either an infrastructure to release secrets or just going as a contractor, grabbing the secrets and releasing them. But either way, both of those gentlemen kind of opened up our eyes a great deal to the fact that the federal government was sitting on a lot of secrets about the lives of American citizens and people around the world. But do we really care about, you know, some guy in Swahili or whatever?
Have a good rest of your night, Lex. Enjoy yourself, bud.
Well, it depends on what his
Thank you for
genomes
that.
look like.
That what's it
that's
called?
true.
Tip.
But what I'm saying is,
I will actually probably do that song, and I'll what's it called? I'll send you a message or whatever if I go ahead and do that track, because that actually is a pretty dope track. But have a good rest of your night. Love you, bud. Peace.
these people came years ago, some 5, 10, 15 years ago, and basically told us, hey, your federal government is weaponizing your data against you. And then they kind of went away because they were both persecuted or prosecuted, right? They both sort of went away.
Didn't Snowden go to, is he still in Russia or did he?
No,
He
he's
is?
in-
Okay.
Yeah. Julian Assange, I think, is in custody, and Edward Snowden's in Russia. He fled, I think, through Hong Kong to.
Imagine having to flee to Russia for safety. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird world, right?
God.
And he's
Yeah.
not, but and after they left, it kind of got quiet on the data front. There was the Vault 7 release a few years ago. I don't know if you followed that.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, though, they had insider information, and I would love to be just very explicit about this. I know nothing that is not publicly available.
Right.
To be persecuted to the fullness of law. No, yeah, they did have the insider. Like, he worked with the CIA very closely, and he was like, "Wow, what we're doing sucks. Like, we shouldn't." I remember I was in college at the time of Edward Snowden's big leaks, and I was coming out of my. My family was conservative.
Sort of kind of not necessarily what I was trying to.
You know people on this particular issue. in my mind, one of the go-to people on this particular issue, the weaponization of data against Americans by the government, the weaponization of data by the government against its own citizens, or at least the potential for it. So you know all this, you have this background, you've kind of figured out sort of famously in the last few months that something's going on under the ballroom, and it's a massive processing center. It's going to require a lot of data. Where's the data going to come from? Now talk me through what you've done the last few weeks to try to bridge that gap and answer that question.
Well, I think the Genesis mission was probably my first investigation.
What's that? What's the Genesis mission?
The Genesis mission is the Manhattan Project for the Future of AI.
So let's go ahead and look that up real quick. Okay, Genesis. Oh, they're gonna. Oh, I can't go on that website. They're gonna get me. Genesis mission. Why is that? Bring together our nation's research and development resources, combining efforts in brilliant American sciences. Okay. Let me see here. Department of Energy. Actually, I don't trust it. Okay, we'll just do Wikipedia for the moment. Accelerate scientific research through artificial intelligence. Create a centralized AI platform to advance scientific development and enhance the nation's technological competitiveness. Let's see here. Donald Trump announced the mission. The Department of Energy said Genesis will leverage AI computing to solve complex scientific problems. One of the mission's aims is to position the United States as a global leader in the AI revolution. Okay. So yeah, so that's basically, yeah, she's just talking about, yeah.
Is the mission statement. It is the, so the DOE, the Department of Energy, it's actually a fascinating story. So the Manhattan Project, as we all know, created the bomb, the atomic bomb, and there were all these secret laboratories in, one in Tennessee, in Texas, or New Mexico, all of these different laboratories. And there were all these scientists that, would live there and didn't know that they were building. Okay, whatever. I don't need to go into those stories. But the Manhattan Project, out of that was born the Department of Energy. The Department of Energy essentially was this, handshake between the government and science, and the privatized, part of science, saying, look, we know that science needs to allow for some level of experimentation in order to work. Government doesn't really like experimentation because the whole point of, creating guidelines is for that. So they kind of had an agreement, like, you do the day-to-day, we'll help with some of the funding, but it has to be used for the greater good of the country. And so they renamed it to the Department of Energy, and it has continued after all these years. And so the Genesis mission is this rebranding of a rebrand, the rebranding of the Department of Energy, kind of, where they want us to believe that the big thing that what they're saying is the big thing that they're building is equivalent to that of the Manhattan Project, right? This AI something is going to be this just huge, and it's hard to quantify that, like what that means. Like, okay, so a bomb, has a certain explosion, like you can kind of quantify how impressive a bomb is. I guess how many GPUs can you eat quicker? Like, I don't know for AI, but I started looking into it, and that's when I found Glenn's Garden. He's this incredible scientist, like computer genius, and he has a great article or a couple of articles out in a website talking about the supercomputers that are getting built. And that's how I found Ellison's.
So you're looking at Genesis. It puts you onto Larry Ellison. So with that background, how do you end up on what you discovered here in the last, I don't know, a couple of weeks?
Well, I think the supercomputer was that kind of pivot, because I've been obsessed with that, because according to Glenn, who worked with the Department of Energy, he and I connected, he said that right now, the only supercomputer that doesn't have a home is Solstice. So they're building at Argonne 2 supercomputers, and one of them is going to live at Argonne, and each lab has a supercomputer. But then there's Solstice, the biggest supercomputer in America that's getting built, has no home. And that's no small thing. It's like, well, that takes 18 months of preparation minimum, right? Just before you can even start getting whatever that looks like into a supercomputer. Is just a bunch of data racks, basically, into something. And so that's when I started thinking, like, oh, I wonder if that's going, under the White House. And that was kind of my most recent revelation with that. And I think just kind of tracking that and going through all these Department of Energy websites and all these other websites and seeing at the bottom that National Design Studio, and just thinking to myself, like, why is it a hyperlink? Like, why is there a byline for a government website? That's weird. And
so
then,
let's back up there. Okay, so that's obviously where we're heading. So you have this idea that, okay, there are these massive supercomputers that the government has determined that are equivalent of the Manhattan Project for the 21st century. The Manhattan Project being the famous project that created the nuclear weapon. This is the equivalent of that. That was the 20th century's greatest achievement in government. Now we have the 21st century's greatest achievement in government is going to be this AI computing capacity. We know where some of them are going to be. They're going to be at Argonne, wherever that is, some physical location. But there's one supercomputer. There's the greatest.
and we don't know who's paying for it. Just
Yeah, well, but then there's the supercomputer to end all supercomputers, the biggest and baddest one of them all, and there's no known location for this. You look at it and you say, hey, that might be what's going under the ballroom based on the words of the president saying they're building something amazing under there. It's a military complex. It's a computer and all that. Now, as you're fishing around, you come across what purport to be government websites, and you notice at the bottom of the government website, it kind of lists who created the website or who owns the website. What is?
Well, I always go down to the privacy policies of any website that I'm on, especially if it's got a yellow eagle on it claiming I can Trump RX it. And so like I go down to find the privacy policies, and it's right above the privacy policy is that, same, size font and everything, and it's hyperlinked. And so I remember looking at it a few weeks ago when I was sitting with my friend. He was going through Trump RX, and I was like, what is that? And we clicked to it, and it's just some, Silicon Valley kind of BS department that we don't need that's prettying up the government. But I think the fact that it's so close to the privacy policy, I was like, well, that's interesting placement. Like there are things that are not quite like accidents all the time with it. And so that's kind of how it got there.
And the hyperlink says National Design Studio. That's the name of it. So
it's designed and engineered in DC by National Design Studio. And I thought that was interesting wording too. It's engineered in DC. Like, I know that it's kind of one of those like tech bro terms, but it also felt like if it's going to be above a privacy policy, like they're being specific about like, well, we told you a little bit like under qualification of what it is.
So you find this hyperlink that says National Design Studio, designed and engineered by National Design Studios. It's on these government websites, Trump RX and others.
Well, so that's the thing, Josh, actually, is like these are websites that the government is making that is separate from, like, it's private entities that are making these government websites, like the Alien one or like this other, all that kind of stuff. Those are like, they're government controlled entities that are doing these things, but they're not government entities in and of themselves, which is why it's so sort of kind of insidious in a way. Yeah, like that's why it's so corrupt. You know what I mean?
What did you learn about it when you started fishing around on the National Design Studio?
Not a lot, which is pretty consistent with the new formats of these websites. Like I felt the same way with Genesis Mission. It just kept sending me in circles. These websites have so much going on, but they say nothing. And you're like, okay, like it's the font's always huge, and there's just, I learned nothing from this website, which is why I was like, all right, we got to start looking in other places if we want to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's all fucked.
And so where did you look?
Well, I started with the executive order that for the National Design Studio. I just tried to trace back when this turned into a government agency and how much it was costing and where it was, getting funded from. And it's the same initiative as Doge, and, it kind of starts unraveling as there.
So the National Design, so the President of the United States, Donald Trump, issues an executive order, and what does he say?
I can pull it up exactly, but the executive order, improving our nation through better design, which is so, and essentially it's having people who are, former and current billionaires volunteer to beautify the government, which is kind of funny because on the National Design Studios website, if anybody goes on it, whatever, they have a history of design, and it's like 4 pictures of like different logos that were once designed for the US. So there's not really You know, I feel like everybody's kind of being sold this idea that he wants to beautify the space. He wants to paint the ground, you know, blue because he wants it to look beautiful. He wants to build the ballroom because he wants it to look beautiful. There's nothing about aestheticizing this that is, it's not vain. There's a purpose, I feel like, for every piece of this, you know, kind of architecture.
So from the executive order, we're going to beautify the country. We're going to do it through this company called National Design Studio. Is that a federal agency or is that a private company?
So it is an initiative, and there's a couple of things that are important to mention. So there's some dates here that are important. In section 3 of the, I had to cut a lot of this from the video just because I tried to stay focused on it, but these dates I do think are important, especially when we go to talk about the Kirk stuff later. Section 3 talks about implementing America by design, and the chief design officer is going to have produced initial results by July 4th, 2026. And this was signed in August of 2025. So I think that that's interesting that it gave an initial results date of July 4th. And then there's also a sunset clause in here that says that this agency that it's creating is going to wind down in 2028. And so I also thought that that was an interesting flag where I'm like, why do we need to sunset something that's so desperately needed? If it's like a tech service of sorts, like beautifying in tech, like that's probably something we're going to need ongoing. And if they want to digitize everything, that's going to take years. Like that Iron Mountain has hundreds of thousands of millions of pieces of paper in it that need to be digitized. So it seems weird to wind something down in 2028 and have, the results in July 4th.
But is National Design Studio so that is a federal initiative. That's not a private company.
It is the exact terminology is it's like one of the C3
IC3.
What was Doge? It was the same thing. It was the federal initiatives, but like it's off the books basically.
Okay. So it's a short-term temporary initiative under the guise of the federal government that is run by private individuals.
Yeah, run by private individuals and backed by private individuals.
And so they, like Elon Musk famously was on Doge. He wasn't a government employee. He didn't take a paycheck, but he had temporary, I think they last 180 days or 270 days. They have temporary access as if they were federal employees. That's kind of a hybrid position. You're private, but we're going to give you the access of a federal government employee. Yeah,
well, they're not really supposed to have that much access. I think he obviously went a little off the rails, to say the least, with it. But the like type of government entity that it is just like it's supposed to be temporary, and so they're not supposed to have like this same carte blanche pass. But the fact that the studio is reporting to Susie Wiles in the executive office, I'm like, well, that's not a design studio. Susie Wiles, I mean, we've seen the pictures. She doesn't care about, the beautification of stuff. Come on.
So Susie Wiles, being the chief of staff for the president of the United States, probably the top 5 most powerful people in the country at any given moment because they sort of set the agenda for the president. They control access to the president. They set his daily schedule, for example. So the chief of staff is a very important position. So talk me through, okay, now we got an idea what National Design Studio is. We see that it's hyperlinked on these websites and that they're designed and engineered in DC by National Design Studio. So what does that mean to you? Well, like you see that and now what?
Well, I see a company that's set up the same way that Doge kind of was, and that makes me nervous because I know Doge was a huge data grab. I mean, the day that that Congress got locked out of the Department of Education, remember? And they were doing that that was the first day that it kind of like hit me like a train that, oh, this is going to be easy for them. Like to take over the government is going to be easy. I mean, look at how easy that was. And that was just the first, let's see what we can get away with data grab. And so seeing the same structure. And then when I started kind of pulling on the threads of the people behind it, like Joe Gebbia, and saw the, oh, he was on the Tesla board. Oh, he took Ellison's seat on the Tesla board. Oh, he was with Doge. Like, oh, that's when my brain starts putting together all those other threads.
Well, let's put the people in place. So we have the National Design Studio. That doesn't mean anything to me at the moment because, I'm watching your video. I've just heard the word for the first time. Who is on the National Design Studio? You just mentioned Joe Gebbia. Joe Gebbia is who?
Joe Gebbia he is the chief design officer of the National Design Studio. Current former CEO of Airbnb. He stepped back in 2022, though.
And why does that raise a red flag for you that he's on the National Design Studio?
I mean, it doesn't until it does. Like I found that interview of him when I was trying to learn about him, and I was listening to him talk, and he brought up Peter Thiel and the, you know, all of the foundations and Kushner and stuff, and I was like, oh, well, this, okay, so we see where the alignment is here. You know, my feelings of Airbnb aside, seeing that he was a part of Doge is just a huge red flag for me. And yeah, it just seemed like, you know, the way that he was talking about the design studio, he referred to it as like, we're doing something like the Manhattan Project. Like he used those terms too. And I was like, oh no, I hope, is this like part of this Genesis mission situation? And so he just kind of set off general, like, oh, this is unwell. I feel unwell about this.
Are there any other former Doge employees that are on the National
Oh,
Design
yeah.
Studio? Okay.
So Big Balls is in there.
Well,
I forget what
let's
his.
be clear, that's his name. We're not just calling him.
Oh yeah. No. That he self-chosen name. You know, your body, your choice. And so he's on there, and then there was so you've got John Kafaza. He's the product designer. You've got Peter Arnell, the U.S. Chief Brand Architect. What's a brand architect? I mean, I know that a lot of this is like Silicon Valley. Like, I think anybody working in marketing will probably be like, oh, listen, there's a lot of redundant type of roles, but like, okay. So then you've got Michael Novia. It's a bunch of bros too. John Kafiza, Darshan Phillips. Yeah,
And
you've
all
got
these people came over from Doge.
the people who came over from Doge are Joe Gebbia, and I would have to pull up the court case that's against
Big Balls
Doge.
came from Doge.
Big Balls came from Doge, and then Akash, I believe I talked about him in my video as well. He's Doge, and he's important because I believe he helped create the AI tool that was slicing the federal agencies when Doge was in the White House. It was called SweetRex, and it was the deregulation AI tool that they built using Google Gemini. I believe he was a part of that, but I'd have to, you know.
So we have the background, we have the formation of the entity, we have the name of the entity, we have the types of people who work there and the sort of things they're doing. Now, knowing that, we're here. Where do you go next to say, hey, this is a problem? Because right now these are just some people, and maybe they worked at a department you did or didn't like, and you know, this is a kind of a weird effort to beautify the electronic architecture that, or the user interfaces people see. Where do you go, oh my gosh, we've got a problem?
Well, seeing that when I looked at the privacy policy and it was contradicting itself, like for instance, Trump RX is adjacent to healthcare, even if it's not selling you anything directly, it's close enough for that discomfort to be there. And so seeing that there was another hyperlinked website, that made me nervous because it was being hosted on a different agency site, like that hyperlink. And we don't normally, within federal governments, you can't go on the IRS government and have a hyperlink to the FBI page and stuff, right? And just knowing the little bit that I do about data and the...
Okay, see, this is the part that I actually sort of kind of put my ears up. And I was like, oh, this is weird. So what she's talking about now is the fact that there is these random hyperlinks at the bottom of these basically government websites that are to outside private companies. And she sort of kind of goes into it a little bit.
Cross-contamination of stuff. It just made me nervous that maybe, and knowing what I know about Larry Ellison, that could those pages talk to each other at all? And so let's look at the code. Let's see what's going on there. Let's see how many heat maps are going when I'm on this website. What are they wanting from me? If they don't want to sell me drugs, if they don't want to sell me healthcare, or like they're trying to bring, like they're getting something from me, if not money. And so it's usually data when it's not money.
So how did you find out whether or not they were collecting data from you?
You do your little inspect search, your little right click on any website, you can do it. And you go into the artifacts like area where the cookies are and stuff. And like, I don't know everything off the top of my head. So I'm Googling stuff on the side where I'm looking at, okay, well, it says it's running this and this. What's post hog? What is it doing? And where does it go? And so, you know, you can see how the rabbit hole just takes a lot of turns probably quickly.
So you jump on Trump RX, for example, just one of the websites that this National Design Studio is hyperlinked on. You do your inspect of the source. You see there are some programs running. What do you discover about those programs relative to how your data is being treated?
Oh, fucking ads.
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys. Well, they're collecting a lot of data. They have True checked for pretty much everything, and PostHog is a private company, which is fine. The government can use private companies to host, to help collect some data, but the key word is some, because the difference is when you're on a federal website versus any other website, like the website we're on right now, or like, social media and stuff, there are laws about how much information the government is allowed to get from you without your consent and knowledge. And those are all these privacy acts that we have. And so, seeing any bit of, like, when you go to any other, website, like if you go to the Delaware LLC website or whatever, and you click that, you're not going to see any kind of routing where something leaves the website and comes back to it, because leaving it is putting your data at risk. And that's going against the federal law of what they're allowed to do with your data and not, especially if it's not anonymized. And I saw that my IP was not anonymized. I saw that they had given me a location. I was on all of my separate browser stuff, but it was like pinpointing my locations. And yeah, it was just, every time I refreshed it, it was immediately just pinging stuff out of that website. And so that's why the hyperlinks to all these other websites is like, let's make sure we know where it's going.
You go to Trump RX. While you're fishing around, you think, I wonder what's going on the back end of this computer on this website.
No, hold on one second. I'm gonna let her talk for a second, but I'll explain.
We know where it's going.
You go to Trump RX. While you're fishing around, you think, I wonder what's going on the back end of this computer on this website. You inspect the source. You see it's calling the data from the source, from Trump RX. It's pulling your data, your non-anonymized data, your IP address, your location, and others. It's pulling it to a private company. Is that what you said? PostHog is a private company?
Yeah, it's a private company, but like the government does use private companies like that, like from time to time. But what it is it's a malleable company. So you can create your own level of security. So typically with federal websites, it's a very, very secure, they can make it lock it down very tightly. And so the fact that I'm seeing visible on this page that there's all of this, all of these asterisks and letting all of these reports, masking all inputs and as false and this and that going out, that just from my bare minimum knowledge of code does not look safe. And so if it's a federal website that's adjacent to healthcare,
And so do we know what the private company is doing with this non-anonymized data they're getting? Do we know? Because this data is being transmitted. It's not at rest.
I don't think the government knows that this data is being tracked. That's the thing is I feel like there's no way that the government right now is keeping track of what data is being tracked, or if that these privacy laws are being infringed upon. I can't imagine that they do. So no, I don't think they have, and that would be our only way to know what's going on. I mean, they can't even figure out what's going on under the ballroom,
You're talking about the congressional folks?
Yeah, sorry, the congressional, yeah. That's how we would know how our data is being used, right?
But if it's data being transmitted and it's going to a private entity, how are you concerned that it's making its way into the, what's called a data center for lack of a phrase?
It's processing through a PostHog is the processing. So it's not storing the data there. It's pinging it. It's like when you make a phone call and it hits the telephone tower. That's a safe telephone tower. But the fact that NDS Studios has all of these subdomains under it, which is when I was pulling at this, is what I started finding. I was like, well, where are they storing this data? If it's pinging over there and I'm on Trump RX and there's this national design studio that's hyperlinked to it, and this PostHog code is saying that it's routing through NDS, that means that that NDS is storing stuff. And if it's storing stuff, then that means there are probably other subdomains that are storing it as well. And that's
okay. This is why I wanted to have you on. This is clarifying it for me. Your concern is not that PostHog is storing all the data. Your concern is that PostHog is pulling your data to be stored by the federal government somewhere, and you don't know where that somewhere is.
Yeah, PostHog is allowing analytics at a granular level that the federal government is not allowed to get from us without our explicit permission. That's what PostHog is doing.
Okay.
And PostHog does that with a lot of websites. That's just what their company is. Like it or not, that's what it is.
So that would be an intentional design inclusion. somebody designed this website, intentionally included this post hog.
Post hog is configurable, so it's a legitimate, widely used product analytics platform that Silicon Valley uses a lot.
Okay, I'm sorry. Had to go see my son for a second. But here's the thing. Basically, what she was talking about as far as the reason her problem about our data being sent to corporations is it's that is against the law. It's okay for them to use private companies to do things as a government, like as the government, you're allowed to do that. However, you're not allowed to. Sorry, maybe I walked away.
Data is being tracked, like, or if that these privacy laws are being infringed upon. I can't imagine that they do. So no, I don't think they have, and that would be our only. No, there's no way that the government right now is keeping track of what data is being tracked. Like there is not that strict that I'm seeing visible on this page. They like from time to time, but what it is it's the
non-anonymized data, your IP address, your location, and others on this website. You inspect the source, you see it's calling the data from the source, from Trump RX. It's pulling your data, your non-anonymized data, your IP address, your location, and others. It's pulling it to a private company. Is that what you said? PostHog is a private company?
Yeah, it's a private company, but like the government does use private companies like that, like from time to time. But what it is it's a malleable company. So you can create your own level of security. So typically with federal websites, it's a very, very secure, they can make it like lock it down very tightly. And so the fact that I'm seeing visible on this page that there's all of this, all of these asterisks and like letting all of these reports, masking all inputs and as false and this and that going out, that just from my bare minimum knowledge of code does not look safe. And so if it's a federal website that's adjacent to healthcare,
And so
basically she's talking about how Trump RX, the website in and of itself, has data going to these non-governmental websites that are basically just sort of kind of. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything nefarious is going on, but what it means is that we can't track it. We can't figure out where the stuff is going because they're going to these privatized corporations. And she goes into it a little bit more.
Do we know what the private company is doing with this non-anonymized data they're getting? Do we know? Because this data is being transmitted. It's not at rest.
I don't think the government knows that this data is being tracked. Like that's the thing is like I feel like there's no way that the government right now is keeping track of what data is being tracked, like, or if that these privacy laws are being infringed upon. I can't imagine that they do. So no, I don't think they have, and that would be our only way to know what's going on. I mean, they can't even figure out what's going on under the ballroom.
You're talking about the congressional folks?
Yeah, sorry, the congressional.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's how we would know how our data is being used, right?
But if it's data being transmitted and it's going to a private entity, how are you concerned that it's making its way into the what's called a data center for lack of a phrase?
It's processing through a post hog is like the processing. So it's not storing the data there. It's pinging it. It's like when you make a phone call and it hits the telephone tower. That's a safe telephone tower. But the fact that NDS Studios has all of these subdomains under it, which is when I was pulling at this, is what I started finding. I was like, well, where are they storing this data? If it's pinging over there and I'm on Trump RX and there's this national design studio that's hyperlinked to it, and this post hog code is saying that it's routing through NDS, like that means that that NDS is storing stuff. And if it's storing stuff, then that means there are probably other subdomains that are storing it as well. And that's okay. This is why I wanted to have you on. This is clarifying it for me. Your concern is not that post hog is storing all the data. Your concern is that post hog is pulling your data to be stored by the federal government somewhere, and you don't know where that somewhere is. Yeah, post hog is allowing analytics at a granular level that the federal government is not allowed to get from us without our explicit permission. That's what post hog is doing.
Okay, so that's what it is. At the end of the day, that's basically what it is that there's this tertiary private company that the government is using to collect data, but we don't know where that data is going. We don't know what it's being used for. We don't know the purpose or anything like that. We literally just know that there is this tertiary private entity that is taking the data from these government websites as an intermediary, and we don't know exactly where any of that information is going. And that is, yeah. So, I mean, you know.
And Post Hog does that with a lot of websites. That's just what their company is. Like it or not, that's what it is.
So
But
would
in-
that be, so that would be an intentional design inclusion. Somebody designed this website, intentionally included this Post Hog.
Post Hog is configurable. So it's a legitimate, widely used product analytics platform that Silicon.
And again, this is actually important. It's not necessarily Post Hog's fault. They are just a tertiary sort of kind of intermediary company that the government has contracted and said, hey, we're going to use your company to fetch data from this website. And there's just a click of list of things that they're collecting. And it has nothing necessarily to do with Post Hog as a company. It has to do with the U.S. government as a user for this service.
Valley uses a lot. And it's got configurable alternatives, right, to Google Analytics and stuff, so it can be safer than Google.
I mean, I would still say it's wrong for Post Hog to be able to do that and all that kind of stuff. I'm not making like a light of that. I'm just sort of kind of dissecting where the issue is in some ways, I guess, is sort of kind of
Analytics, which is great, but you can see in the script whether or not something is configured, how safely it is, right? And when you see these pings going off all the time and you're seeing that it's routing and bouncing through your domain and then it's going to another domain, you can see that that's not exactly safe, because the second data makes one ping outside of wherever you are, where your location is, it's vulnerable. Like no matter what is, which is why the federal government has its own servers that are the federal government servers, and they have backups that are papers in Iron Mountain.
So were you able to determine where the data ultimately is resting, or you're just surmising
it went to this back door that was locked shut. So the subdomains, when I was pulling on those.
Well, the private, like the government doesn't necessarily need a private corporation to access data, but they do need some kind of service. Like the government in and of itself doesn't have a like using Occam's razor. It's easier for the government to go out and contract a company to get the data that already does the thing than it is for them to create a wing of the government that accesses the data, right? Like it's easier for them to do that. So they just contract out a data service or you know, whatever this GitHub or whatever, to be able to access all the data without having to actually go through. And yes, they probably did cut back deals with the company to be able to make this happen. But that is, I mean, all of the data, you know, oligarchs were at the inauguration. So that's definitely accurate. But yeah, the whole point is basically that they're using these, because they've always done this, even when it came to coal or oil or anything else. They don't subsidize it themselves. They just buy out parts of, you know what I mean? Government does need a vendor. Yeah, but the internet in and of itself has gotten to a point where they don't have access to all portions of the internet. And they also don't have access to all the data. Like the government and like the internet itself is not, I mean, it's an ethereal thing that is based in real places, and the government does actually still sort of kind of, they have a back door to everywhere, but that doesn't mean they have access to everything. That's the thing, is like, the government is all powerful, but the government is corrupt, and that's how they're all powerful. it's not that they actually have access to everything. They have to use corruption in ways to get access to everything. That's the way the government works. It has nothing to do with like there's no governmental access per se to the data. That's what Snowden and Assange had exposed, is that they used these extra services and extra vendors, if you will, to access all of this data and then use that to spy on Americans and this and that. It wasn't that like the American government already had access. They had to go through these sort of kind of channels, and then, you know what I mean? U.S. government has access. Yeah, they do have access to the best engineers. Yeah, and yes, that's true, but that's sort of the point, is they're paying the people for the data access. Is like they're legitimately using the access of these I wouldn't call them small, but private corporations who have more access because they're not a government institution. Like a private citizen could do a thing that the government can't do, at least legally. So what they'd end up doing is just finding ways around the rules and then figuring out how to break them in different ways. It's obviously all corrupt and fucked, but
those threads, like there was that one 150 line piece of code that was built on only NDS's studios, that was their own custom script code that was the always active monitoring. And that didn't have like a post hog situation with it. My friend who looked at it, and he's like, I think that it's tracking through here, and this is one of the like later stages of it, or whatever he said in my video. I'm not being as eloquent about it, but when we tried to trace that back, it dead ends. Everything was locked behind that Cloudflare. The love is a skill. Okay, so it's a good time to transition. So now we know data's going somewhere. We don't know where it's going. It's going behind some locked door. We don't know whether we assume that's.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, no, that is true. The corporations give the donations, and then the government just uses that as a, it's a circular situation where like I pay you to hire me, so therefore I get the money back, and there's just this service provided, but in actuality we're doing things for free for each other. No, that's accurate. But we know it's a private. We know it's a private server because it kept hitting NDS as the not .govs. So you've got TrumpRx.gov. But it's actually going to an NDS website, and is where that data was going. Okay. So you say, hey, if TrumpRx is doing this, are there other websites doing this as well? What do you find? Well, I go to the NDS Studios website to see what they're willing to share that they have worked on. So it's the Federal Food Commission, or the RFK's Food Federal Commission, I think it is. I'll pull it up right now. They have TrumpRx, Real Food, 2026, realfood.gov. And so these are all .gov websites. So there's this sense of, oh, okay, it's government websites. But when you look at where the code is pinging around to, it ends up on a .nds.gov website, which is a different domain. They also have the Genesis mission, and they have Trump accounts, which are the those, if you have a baby, will start a Trump account for you. I think just to clarify, these are all National Design Studio websites that are purporting to be government agency websites. And so she sort of kind of like jumped over. I agree with you. This is definitely the most corrupt administration that has ever been in charge of our government, just in general. But she sort of kind of skimmed that, like over that. And I think that's actually a really big point, because so if the National Design Studio has access to the Trump accounts, which is the accounts that were made by new parent. Like it went into effect in December of 2025, which is when my son was born, the week before. Like my son was born November 1st, and so it was the month prior that the Trump account for the kids came around, and so he didn't get to sign up for it, which now in reflection I'm happy about, because if the thing is that the government is now in control or access to these health accounts and health information for your kids and their basically their bank account when it comes to their savings, then they can do a lot of things with that information, and that is scary.
So these are on the studio, National Design Studio. When you go to their work section, it shows a list of the websites that they've beautified for the government. Trump RX is one. They've created Real Food as the other. The Genesis Mission, they've beautified those websites. The Trump accounts, they've beautified those websites. So they're this aesthetic layer to the government. Some of these are new, like Tech Force is a new government agency, but like Safe DC is not necessarily a new, this is part of a different initiative that's a different government entity. And what's interesting about Safe DC is I didn't see the same post-hog script running through Safe DC. And I think that that's because it's still heavily attached to like the FBI and like the local policing there. And it's not its own separate thing like Real Food is or Tech Force. But I did think that that was interesting, so that there's still that kind of distinction between church and state there.
So how many total websites did you find that were either under construction or deployed?
Well, that's a different question. Let me pull up that sheet. So on their website, just to be clear, they are advertising 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're advertising 8 websites that they have beautified. I found on my end, let me pull up my little.
Well, let me just say, before you say what you found, how did you find more?
At the repository. So every website has a certification. Anytime you build any website, they give it a certification, like IP numbers, all that. And so I went to the GitHub, which is there's a lot of tech JavaScripts and stuff that are saved there. But there's a big repository that's kept up by the government that's all of the .gov websites. So you can, trace any, like if you see a federal agency and you're like, oh, what agency does that belong to? You can go to this repository. And they also have, it's called gov or something, it's some redundant name that you can go and just check to see what agency owns which websites, because the idea in America is that agencies get to own the tech that they're working on, and that they get to process the information, and then it's all under the umbrella of the executive branch or whatever, but it is like the agency's own proprietary, like they can do their own processes with it, which is why every government entity looks so different and like kind of functions different, and the websites look different, but it's all on their own servers. And so that's the idea. So not one person, it's not the president who runs every single agency, it's the agencies that have their own agency in how they run it.
In theory, the Department of Justice runs their websites, the FBI runs their website.
And that they're not as what am I trying to say? They're impartial. They're not left wing, right wing. That the idea is that they run an impartial government.
Yeah, they're just there to perform a service. HHS is there to perform health and human services. They're not there to collect data to funnel back under the White House ballroom and use it to control humans. In theory, theoretically. So you discover how many total websites under construction?
So at the time of reporting, and I'm updating my GitHub as we speak, I have in front of me over 69 entries total. And then as I was reporting, which is crazy, as I was reporting last night, this is like literally 2 a.m. my time on Pacific time, there were 3 new passport.nds.gov websites that popped up, and it was these. Let me pull them up. My little passports, and it like popped up that morning. It was passportstaging.nds.gov, passport staging with an asterisk, and then passport photos. Yeah, there's a lot of passport push, and it made me think about the Trump passport that's being rolled out kind of too. And I don't know.
So let's take let's pause here, take a very global look at where we are.
Yeah.
We have an entity that's been formed by the Trump administration called National Design Studios. National Design Studios is operating under the guise that they're just going to come through and make some websites look a little prettier. But what they're really doing is making it so that when your humble host jumps on a website and says, oh, I'd like to see Trump RX prescriptions, my IP address, my location, my data is being collected. And I look and I say, hey, I take asthma medicine because I cough all the time and everyone thinks I take lisinopril and that's why I cough. I have great blood pressure. I don't take lisinopril. You know, I'm like Teddy Roosevelt. I cough a lot. I have bad asthma. And I get on there and I say, wonder if my asthma medicine could be found cheaper by looking on Trump RX. But what's really happening is they may or may not give me a cheaper alternative to my medication. But what they're really doing is they're pulling my data out. And they're saying, this guy at this IP address, at this location, using this browser, using all this stuff, he's looking for this medication. Now, if I go to the passport, oh, now he's looking for a passport. Then I go to the Trump account. Oh, he's setting up 8 Trump accounts for his kids and a new one for the grandbaby that was just born 4 days ago. So this guy, you're starting to build a profile, a dossier.
Dare I say a dossier?
Yes. So that's kind of what we're talking about is what they've done is, and we'll go to one more in just a second, login.gov. But what they've done is they've created the capacity to build a complete dossier of all your federal interest. Every time you hit a federal website, they're able to determine what it is you're doing there, who you are, where you're located. And in an instant, they can pull this into their servers, and then now they can run their AI processes on it. Now, in theory, what my thought is, and I'll go ahead and spoil the surprise, consumer data is readily available. Healthcare data is readily available. Cell phone location data is readily available. Car location data, very readily available. Now I know who this is looking at Trump RX. I know who it is looking at Passport. I know who it is looking at Login. And now I can import all this other data and I can marry it either with tokens or just IP addresses or whatever. And now I can build out a complete profile. Not only that, I can now bring in the NSA data. I can look at your emails. I can look at your telephone records. I can look at your text messages, your pictures you take. I can look at the websites you browse, what kind of weird stuff you look at after 11 o'clock at night. I can put all this together, and now I own you. Now I own you. And if the federal government is putting a program together like this, it's nice that somebody out there, like Dre, is able to tell us, oh, by the way, here it is in action. We're watching it be constructed in real time. At 3 a.m., you're seeing new
They're
websites.
popping them up. Yeah, it's insane to watch. And even today, like I was on a walk, and like trying to update it and stuff, and I'm pulling it from my phone right now so I can just look at my updated list. But yeah, it's insane. I mean, even just like, so 69 is conservative, right? I've added today alone like another 12, it looks like, to my thing. So yeah, and some of them are so the thing is, and without getting too technical on it, some of them are reachable where like which means you get to the subdomain and then it's behind like a wall, but like it doesn't give you a 404 error when you try to go to the web page. So it's like alive in that way. And then there were some of them, which is, like the his board of peace, right? Like when you go to hit that HTTP status, it will give you like a bunch of error signs, or it'll shut you down. It'll be like, this is under like lock and code. So that means you have to be like on the actual infrastructure to get to it. Wouldn't it be nice to have some privacy? Like we all know that. But yeah, so that's what's tough. And so I have like all of these as I'm looking at it, like green, like the ones that I could actually get to, and then others where it like sends you to an unknown domain, and then some, random IP addresses. But the certifications I think are really interesting. And then the last certified, meaning that they were updated, is really interesting to me too.
But the fascinating part to me is, so and we could talk about login, because I think login is the second most interesting part of this. Login.gov, or ID.me, if you've ever interacted with any federal website and where you have to pay taxes, get your information, order an IRS transcript, like if you've ever had to do any of these things, then you've had to open a login.gov or ID.me account. If you enroll in Medicare, Medicaid, you get on, there's all these different reasons you would have to open one of these accounts. I think you said in your video, there's like 150 million or 175 million people so far have opened.
150 million. Yeah. And I've done it. I've opened an account. I forget for what, but yeah, they're like these logins that you have to scan. You're like, do the geometric or whatever you call it to get in, and it's your literal pass key for everything else. Like, oh, don't worry, now you can get in if you want to look at your tax returns or if you want to, whatever.
Yeah. And you're saying that login.gov has this same capacity by the National Design Studio?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Oh.
Well, I mean, so
Or it's going
again,
to?
all I know is that the guy who is running login.gov, which let me pull his name really quick, he was a part of Doge and he's running it, and so that's just enough concern. Greg Hogan is running login.gov, and he was on Doge, and so now him proofing the identity services is just a whole, like, aren't they in court right now? Like, that doesn't feel good.
No, and so we look at China and we say, oh, they have a social credit score system. That's so terrible. Well, this is how you would build one of those out. This is what you would do.
Who do you think built it for China? Ellison built this for them right when Tiananmen Square. Sorry.
Right.
Insane.
And so it looks, to your humble host, it looks like me looking in, this is the infrastructure build out. And if you're right about the ballroom hosting the processing capacity and potentially the storage capacity, it looks like it could all be run out of the office of the presidency. You mentioned vote.gov as well, where they were going to require everybody to register to vote through this system, or at least require the states to register everybody through this system in order to quote unquote verify citizenship. I'm all in favor of verifying citizenship of people who cast votes in federal elections. That doesn't concern me at all.
Yeah, protecting elections is good.
Yeah, but what concerns me is, are we dual purposing these registrations? Are we, on the one hand, saying we just want to make sure this person's a citizen, or are we storing the data on this person, and then when they log in to verify, or they log in to register, or they log in to update, now we've captured their location, their IP address, and now we can start pinning all of their electronic activity to this one name, this one ID. That's kind of
that's how it always works. It always starts with immigration. Like, and it sucks that that's the case, because there's obviously healthy arguments for both sides of needing, to be on top of immigration, but then, also there's a lot of layers to it, but it always gets weaponized, because between that and going to war, those are the only two ways you have any justification for locking down more of your citizens. Oh, well, we're in war right now, so we have to take away your ability to access Planet Labs, right? Like, it's just because we're at war right now. And it's these tightened grips that always get tighter, because when the war ceases, it doesn't. It just gets turned inwards on its own people. And the immigration then gets turned in on its own people. And that's why that's that slippery slope.
I mean, you go back to the founding of the country, or even back in Teddy Roosevelt's days. If Teddy Roosevelt in the early 1900s, while he was president, if they came to him and said, Mr. President, we're going to not even pass a law. The White House is going to start going into everyone's house and reading all of their journals, reading their mail. People would have panicked. People would have freaked out. It would have caused a national controversy. No one would have been okay with it. But because it's our email, it's our text messages, it's our phone calls, it's our voicemails, it's our browsing history, everybody's just like, well, it seems complex. I really don't understand it. That's why I wanted to have you on, because I watched the video and I was terrified. My concern was that I wouldn't be able to explain it, why it was so terrifying. I needed you to come in and kind of walk me through.
Well, and it's hard to do it in, like, because, when you've been in too deep for too long, it's kind of hard to get that, zoom out, explain it like I'm in 5th grade mentality. Because it is. It's like, okay, well, the bunker was where it started, but then it built on the Genesis mission, and then it built on this. And now we have a voter verification citizenship thing, which, by the way, that registration mandates that was public, that was, done in the White House, where I think they said on the same day that on March 2026, on the same day that Kirk tip line was registered, which we'll get to in a minute, was the same day that they cast this voter registration 90-day countdown for getting people to citizen verified, like, voter lists. They have a 90-day deadline for that in June.
Okay, well, we're gonna stop at that, because then they start getting into Charlie Kirk stuff, and I just don't feel like dealing with that at the moment. But I do I guess I worry. Here's my thing. Here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm at with this. We've already had an issue where the government in and of itself has overstepped its boundaries in a lot of ways, and really gets us sort of kind of into really horrible situations, like as citizens. And this is just a further step in that direction, in which you can't really, like, I think what's happened is this. They've hit the wall on what they can actually do as like a government. So what they're doing is they're just going outside of the government and just hiring these oligarchs in order to facilitate this secondary side government thing, which has already been going forever. I mean, we all know that there's this. I mean, it's not a secret government. It's just people who are there as career, either politicians or military generals or CIA, all these people. They all have been there for. Oh, hey, Bubba. Hey. Okay. Well, I gotta hop off, guys. I'm sorry. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye. Sorry, I had to cut it.